A lot of scrimmaging today. Just what did that look like? What were you trying to see, at this point in time?
Well, I mean, definitely a heavy dose of scrimmaging. Played a lot of games. Just wanted to see these guys just carry over a lot of stuff that we've been installing defensively and offensively. Really taking a hard look on the offensive stuff with some spacing things that we've been talking about. Some just indicators on how we're going to attack space. Those were the biggest things that we talked about. Obviously, we're adding some of our play calls, but as I said, at the media day, the third gear concept where we've got advantages, second gear where there's more of a set defense, so we got to be better organized for the 50-60% of the game. That's what we really were trying to dial in on right now. Speed right now in camp, everyone's going full throttle. The competitiveness level was fantastic, but now it's just kind of getting the nuances of really how we're going to execute our offense. Defensively, obviously, we've been challenged in the first 2-3 days. Today was heavy offense focus from my end.
What does the scrimmage look like? Is it a target score? You said there were multiple games. Are you playing a certain amount of?
No, we were playing just 5-minute quarters. We played a number of them, and we were just changing different lineups. So trying to put guys in different spots so that I could kind of keep a focus on big combinations, small combinations, a variety of things that you'll see unfold in preseason. I'll keep that to me right now, but that was the main focus. Obviously, 5-minute games can only show you so much, but just want to get these guys playing first and foremost. Trying to tackle the things we're talking about offensively, defensively, and then just for us trying to get a feel for some of the combinations, which obviously the games will reveal much more of.
What are the chances Steven could play on Sunday?
We'll talk to the medical team. Obviously, we're going to take his feedback. I thought he looked great in the first 3 days of practice. I think I said on day one, we're going to be smart. Obviously, as he's coming back and getting into real life play here. But he's responded well day in and day out. We've got 2 more days here. We'll get his feedback. We'll talk to the medical team. But so far things are looking good, but not going to fully commit to that. It's a long preseason.
It's been so long since he's been on the court. Luke said he looked great. He was hitting with passes. It's kind of opening up things that they didn't see, that they haven't seen in a while.
Sure.
What kind of a reminder has that been for you? What's that been like watching him kind of reassert himself?
Oh, it's been awesome. He came in and he was Steve-O. I think I said it. He looks like Steve-O out there. The physicality, he's playing with the force. He's not shying away from anything. And this is the most significant 5-on-5 he's had in months. So that's why we're using that word cautious. We just want to see how he responds to it, since he mostly been doing stuff like one-on-one. So trying to get him monitoring the reps and all that stuff. So we're not going too far. But everything we're hearing from all his prep work with the medical team, how he's coming out of practices, it's been positive. And then when you just see him on the court, you're seeing the exact same Steve-O with how he's physical, not just on the interior, but the perimeter as well. He's throwing his weight around, which we're really excited about. It's the playmaking that he does with his screening. Obviously, the passing. He's been talking to me a lot about how he's got to get certain guys open off the ball, how he's got to find certain guys, Dez and Luke in particular. So it's been great to see first 3 days so far with Steve-O.
Do you see that high post playmaking that he has continue to be a big component of that?
Yeah, no, we'll still utilize that. I think you'll ask the questions after probably the first preseason game or first couple ones about some of the different spacing we're doing. That still will be part of it. Him in the trail spot, he may be in different other spots of the floor as well. In our initial wave of running. But we know he can be a playmaker in so many different ways. I want the ball to be in his hands and not just rely solely on screen and roll or just dribble handoffs. So we're going to explore some of the other spots on the floor that he can still be able to facilitate and not just be top of the key or at the elbows, but that still be a big part of what we do because we're used to it. We got confidence in it. He's got chemistry with his teammates. So that's definitely a part of it, but hopefully we're just even expanding that.
Speaking of, Steven playing, he was just talking about Dez and Luke being on the floor together and just the spacing it creates. You talked a lot about, spacing, so far in the preseason. With those two, we saw them play together late in the season last year. Is that something you want to explore more of this season? Is that something you're looking at right now, potentially maybe as starting group or just getting them on the floor more together overall?
Absolutely, getting on the floor more together. Starting, we'll see. As I told all these guys, told Luke as well. He's a guy that can, be a starter, come off the bench, have a high impact. He knows that. We need him to be good for us on both ends. But what he creates for us offensively is elite. what Des can, provide us, not just from his shooting standpoint, but you see what he's done from a playmaking standpoint. So having those two guys play off of each other is going to be exciting. The sample size we saw last year was very, very encouraging. How we kind of unroll that, whether it's starting units, it's mixed lineups, throughout the game, it's one, Luke coming off the bench, we'll kind of experiment with that. But I want to be open-minded, as I said, game to game to see where we can get more of those lineups for sure.
You've got the open practice on Saturday. What do you look forward to from that event every year?
Well, I think it's awesome just, to get our fans back into FedEx Forum first and foremost. Obviously, the format is geared towards entertainment for our fans. We're going to have our guys out there, to the best of their abilities competing, but having fun too, trying to get the fans engaged. There's obviously, segments of the practice where we have fan engagement, so we want them to enjoy that. But, everyone's been waiting for months to get back into FedEx Forum and see their Grizz get out there on the hardwood floor. So that's the number one thing. Obviously, I'm hopeful that our guys go out there and try to work on the things we've been doing the first couple of days of camp, but I want them to remember why we're out there. It's to celebrate our fans and let them have a good time on Saturday.
We know Steven has jokes all the time. But
Steven, jokes?
yes,
Yeah.
But is the mood different that you see from him when he's actually able to be out there and play? He's talked a lot about how much it sucked to sit on the bench and not be a part of a lot of this.
Yeah, he was very honest about how frustrating it was. It was a unique situation he had never really gone through before last year. Obviously had a long summer to have to navigate all that stuff, not being able to be on the floor and be Steve-O. But luckily, I think the first 3 days have given him a lot of positive encouragement. But he wants to be smart about it too. We want to be smart as well. It's going to be a super long season. A couple weeks here with preseason, but he's his normal self. He brings tons of energy and joy, with his group, but also as we're challenging him to raise his level, not just defensively, but also offensively, thinking the game differently with some of the stuff we're doing. He's highly engaged, but as you said, the most important thing, he's so excited to be back with his teammates, having those jokes, but also bringing that competitive fire to get this group to be better.
So he's back to giving you a hard time, huh?
Yeah. Typical. All right, everyone.